Tennessee adds 2 commitments. You're getting called out on the message board, and you thought Tennessee's recruiting was slipping a little bit, and suddenly they pick up a couple of commitments. Are they hot or cold now?
They're hot. Tennessee landed 4-star Georgia linebacker Brayden Rouse and 3-star in-state defensive back Javonte Smith. We'll talk about them in a minute. They have been. What happened was, Dave, while we were off last Monday, I went live on Tennessee's hot recruiting weekend where they picked up 4 guys. And I said the recruits looked desperate because none of them were highly touted recruits. And it looked like Josh Heupel was just trying to add bodies for a splash in the class. But then the very next day, Tennessee picked up 2 elite 4-stars, and I go live again. And I'm like, okay, I'm eating crow. I was wrong. And now they have added another 4-star. So things are picking up a little bit.
Yep. Let's break them down now. Hot or cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. All right. I think hot. Rouse is obviously hot. A 4-star linebacker from the state of Georgia. You'd take that guy in a year.
Yes, and he is 6'3", 220. He is a coverage, and here's the thing. He's 6'3", 220. You wonder, would he move up to edge, to play on the line if he got to college? No. 90% of his highlight reel, Dave, is being a coverage linebacker, which, as you know, one thing Tennessee has really been lacking in recently are linebackers that their strength is in coverage. They've had trouble with that. And even Arian Carter, who I love, has had to learn coverage a little bit. And
well, how about just depth?
And depth's a huge part too.
Yeah, I mean, you had to turn to Jeremiah Thielander earlier than you planned. He wasn't ready. And now, who's their depth now? Other than Carter and Thielander, who do they have at linebacker?
That's the big question. Not really anybody. I mean, I guess you could say Caleb Beasley is on that list at linebacker now, but you're right. I mean, I'm not so sure they have anybody they can turn to after those 2. And they really didn't have Thielander to turn to last year. He was forced into because Keenan Peely got hurt. I guess Edwin Spillman. Sorry, not Caleb Beasley. I don't know why I said Caleb Beasley. Edwin Spillman is who they would turn to. But yeah, no, and then they got 2 freshmen, Jaden Harmon and Jaden Perlow. But they don't really have anybody that stands out. So this is a big deal. And also, I wrote this in my column yesterday, Dave. Tennessee beat out Texas and Alabama for Rouse. Beating out those guys is a big deal, right?
That's hot.
Yeah. I mean, that alone is enough for the win.
I'm always looking for reasons to throw that in there. That wasn't the only commitment that Tennessee picked up. It was the highest rated as a 4-star. They also picked up 3-star cornerback Javonte Smith out of Jackson, Tennessee. All right, I'm going to make you pick. He's barely among the top 1,000 prospects in the nation. Is Javonte Smith an in-state sympathy offer, or is he a legit player that's going to make an impact for the Vols on the field?
I think he is just a body. I'm cold on him. I think it's a shot in the dark by Tim Binks and Willie Martinez, who take a lot of shots in the dark. I looked at Javonte Smith's highlight reel. He's an athlete. Most of it is him playing wide receiver. There's only one play of him getting an interception, and I can't judge a cornerback by whether or not he gets an interception. He is 6'0", 170 pounds. He'll have to put on weight. I don't know if he'll maintain his athleticism when he gets there, once he puts on the weight. And I think I don't know if he's a sympathy offer. I think it was just an easy guy to pick up. And they thought, okay, he has potential. Maybe he could work out into something. People are asking if I believe so much in West Tennessee prospects. I don't believe in Jackson prospects the way I do Knoxville and Chattanooga prospects. I've always talked about Knoxville and Chattanooga prospects, specifically overachieving. Jackson's hit or miss. Yes, Al Wilson came from Jackson, but so did Daniel Brooks. So,
David on the message board says we're getting 4-star safety Joel Combe, according to Rivals today. That would be a big pickup as well. Paris?
That's hot.
Yeah, it is. By the way, saw an interesting clip of Howard Stern trying to cage Donald Trump in, talking about a 12-year-old Paris Hilton. That was uncomfortable for me and everybody involved.
Well, I mean, he was friends with Epstein, so,
Yeah, they walked in there at 12 years old. Who is that? Okay.
That's hot.
All righty. All right, let's continue to break down Tennessee's big recruiting day, 24 hours, whatever you want to call it. Caleb, Tennessee is now number 14th in the nation in terms of recruiting class. Seems like Tennessee under Heupel has always been in that 10 to 15 range. I don't know that they've broken into the top 10. Is that good enough? Is that hot or cold? Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. I was asking you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were playing the ad. I really apologize. I really apologize. Okay, so
I knew you did by the way I said it. We'll go ahead and do that. We'll tell you whether or not this class is good enough to win championships or what it needs. It's hot or cold. Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
There's your pair.
Okay, let me ask you this question. We'll reset the poll question. Is Tennessee hot or cold in recruiting? I think you'd have to argue they're hot right now, but they need to get hotter. I've said this before. To win championships at Tennessee in particular, I can't even think of an exception off the top of my head. Maybe if there's an elite coach, elite offensive coach, I think you have that in Heupel, but I still think you have to have more talent. Hot or cold? This class currently at 14 is good enough to win championships.
I think hot because of where the star power is in this class. The star power is Faison Brandon. And if you get the right quarterback in your class, I still maintain with the Heupel offense, if you find, and I don't think they should spend on finding the right quarterback, because I think you and I both agree, Dave, it's really, really, really hard to just land the right quarterback that can carry a team, right? That's true. It's much easier to actually scout like talent everywhere else and then have a guy that can just run your system. But I think it's very, very, but if Faison Brandon is the right quarterback, and every indication is that he is, well, then he can carry everybody else along with that recruiting class in Josh Heupel's system.
I'll tell you what's nice is having a guy that I've been told is recruiting for Tennessee, and they didn't have that with Nico. I didn't, he was out in LA. He didn't seem to do a lot of recruiting for Tennessee. He didn't seem like a take charge type of guy in general, as evident by the way he left Tennessee. I think when all's said and done, and I hinted at this in the last segment, you're going to look back at the Nico era and say, wow, man, it's a good thing he went to UCLA. Tennessee dodged a bullet there.
I think so too. I definitely think so too. And I think that it was more, you're right, it was somewhat about the leadership and things like that. And every sign is that Faison, everything I hyped Nico to be, every sign is that Faison will be. Great point, General Ursus, who said it. I think Faison is on track. According to reports, Faison could be on track to be everything Nico was. So I think with the hype behind that, I think Faison is the face of that class, can carry the rest of it.
I think he can too. I think just a little bit of recruiting, being in the North Carolina area, should be pretty easy for him. Make a couple of phone calls and bam, you're good. I think with Nico in LA, it was always a little bit hit or miss. And I think at some point, based off what I've been told, that Tennessee's coaches got a feel for Nico was not the best fit. And they made the offense more conservative. I don't think that made the Iamaleava's family very happy. That meant fewer opportunities, and suddenly the whole thing melts down. You don't have this if you don't have the new transfer rule. Well, relatively new, 5 years old. You don't have this situation if you have the new transfer rule, but I think you're better off going ahead and cutting bait with a guy that you don't think's a perfect fit, if that's the case.
No, I agree. I want to address the message real quick because everybody's talking about West Tennessee prospects panning out. I agree, guys. They panned out, and Jackson's had a lot of prospects. But, guys, everybody you named was a highly touted recruit, not Javonte Smith, who was not a highly touted recruit.
Right. Ryan says Nico, in hindsight, was the worst recruit and investment Tennessee has ever made. The worst since Dave Clawson.
Yeah, that's true. Dave Clawson was a bad one.
And you mentioned a couple of guys that Philip Fulmer did keep around. Larry Slade, defensive back coach, receiver coach Pat Washington. Those guys should have been gone.
He did. He kept him around too long. Getting back to this class, I wanted to see hot or cold on the defense. What are your thoughts on the fact that Tennessee's loading up on defense this class? 13 of 19 commitments are on defense.
I don't think I've covered recruiting a long time. I will bet you it ends up at 12 or 13 of the 25 commitments are on offense, 12 or 13 are on defense.
So you don't think this is representative of anything right now? 13 of 19 on defense?
Let's see where it shakes out. Would you feel the same way if they picked up 6 offensive commitments and it's 13 of 25?
No, but 10 of the but they've picked up so many defensive recently, and I feel like I feel like there's a focus on getting more depth on defense, which is interesting to me.
No, I could see that. And let's look at Tennessee's offense for a second. With the exception of Miles Kitzelman and Joey Aguilar, Tennessee should be very experienced coming into the 2026 season. We don't need to get a year ahead. 2025 is right around the corner. But a rebuilt offensive line with some youth, a young receiver core. You will have oh my goodness, his name suddenly escaped me. Other tight end, Ethan Davis.
Ethan Davis, yeah.
I mean, you have a very young team on offense this year. You could be experienced and talented in 2026.
Oh, I agree. I think that's why they're going more for defense this time, is for depth. And now let me address what everybody's calling me out for, because I've talked about their players
Getting too sensitive.
Saying I'm saying Heupel was getting desperate. Tennessee has added 10 new players in the past 12 days. But Dave, only 3 of them are 4-star recruits or higher. Are you hot or cold on that?
I'll say I'm cold. However, that being said, I think it's pretty easy nowadays. College recruiting used to have this gentleman's code, Caleb, back when I was a young guy your age covering it, and you didn't pull a scholarship. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if Tennessee comes across 5-star defensive backs, they're going to cut bait with Javonte Smith. I don't care if he's in state or not.
Yeah, so you're on my side. Is this Heupel getting desperate because they were outside of the top 60, and then they added 10 guys in 12 days, almost all 3-stars? Was Heupel just trying to add a bunch of bodies to push up the recruiting class rankings?
I don't think so. I think it's just the timing. I think he also prides himself in talent evaluation, even though I may not think that's his best skill. I think it's putting together an offense. But no, I don't raise the red flag on that, because of what I alluded to earlier. They can cut bait with Javonte Smith. They can make a change. And even nowadays, it's even more flexible, Caleb. The guys could show up on campus and you could run them off.
That's true. You're right. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. So, yeah, I think they'll be in decent shape, but I do think that there's a little bit of desperation, though, at the same time.